Morning, morning, my babies. All right, gonna jump right to it. I have a meeting in like 1 hour, so I'm gonna do these videos out. Yesterday I did two videos and it was exciting to do them. I had to go to the house to actually get the paperwork for my visa to France. Hear me out, guys. All right, that'll be interesting to share. I went and I kind of like did not pressure my family to go and to finish the papers for me because technically I'm unemployed. Freelancers don't really get to I don't even have a bank account. We're in Lebanon, right? Like, so the banking system sucks, and transferring and all that good shit still has not picked up. And since I don't have a legitimate job or a job that actually like requires somebody to deal with me daily and pay me, I don't have a bank account, so I had to rely on my uncle's my uncle's company, which he basically like it's registered in Lebanon and he trades and does shit like this. So he registered me as working there, and my dad registered me as basically a guarantor under his name, right? Signing basically a banking paper from Spain. So I did all this paperwork, and I remember that day I was like, okay, so I had to print some more papers basically to prove some stuff. And I went to their house in order to like gather the papers. I set the paperwork and I started applying, but then I forgot the papers at the house. And so yesterday I had to go to the house to actually see if the papers are there, and I saw them there because I thought I lost them. And the whole time I was questioning, like, why the fuck, why did this happen? Like, did I, is this for me to kind of like, is this showing how negligent I am with my trip or with my intentions towards the trip? And because in my head, the trip doesn't really fit with the dynamic of what I'm trying to build. But I kept saying, like, if it's an intention, if it's there, like, something will come up. And it's funny because yesterday I was literally like sitting there going, like, bruh, for me to have forgotten the papers and taken an extra week and a half in order to like get the visa information, it seems like I am kind of resisting the travel. And the reason I'm resisting is because I don't have any cash for it. So I started reflecting on just doing the job or doing what I have to do. And so applying for a visa is what I have to do. And then basically figuring out how to get the ticket and figuring out the expenses and all that kind of stuff starts slowly falling into place. It was super funny because as I engaged differently with the fact that I have to go to the house, I kind of was like, okay, if I go to the house, I can do stuff at the house. I did. I recorded some things. I watched the video. It was comforting in a certain way to actually like spend the night alone in my parents' house. And in the morning, I walked to my house, which is across the city. So it was like an hour and 15-minute pilgrimage kind of like style thing. And it was also funny. But again, like throughout my process of walking, I was thinking, like, how does me going there fit? And then it clicked at one point, I guess, where if I finish coding the website right now, me actually traveling will give me enough space to fill in the spots and use the website and like interact with the website as a user in order to be able to understand it better from the outside instead of like just focusing on what am I gonna code and how will it look. And so that kind of like disrupted something in me, which was amazing. And when I came here in my book, I kind of like wrote about a certain belief, which I really would want to talk to you about. And very much started randomly the other day. And I was thinking about how an individual that I know was not accepting of how I truly was. So I was exactly myself at one point. Are we ever gonna get to this note? I have no idea. So, but this is like a straight up train of thought that has been going through my head for like a month now. And so I acted like I always act, which is basically technically myself, right? And that's where acceptance happens. But that didn't work out. And I questioned what I did and I went over it. And then I realized, man, you could have done it differently. You could have done it better. It doesn't fucking matter. And then after a while, we tried to engage with each other again. And again, each one was very much defensive to his side. And I completely realized my responsibility when it comes to that. But then at one point, after like I realized I was completely rejected, it felt some kind of way. And then I took a step back and then I started reflecting on how I allowed the development of the relationship to get to where it is. And it took me all the way back to when we first started. It felt like I was very much eager to have a friend around. And I was very grateful for that to happen, right? Like I was very excited. I was very like super, just having somebody to talk to, right? To having somebody to be able to engage with was super fun. But it felt very much like I am I am seeking like that attention in a way that is making me a people pleaser, right? And randomly was I when I was thinking, I was like, the first thing that happened was I remember what did I write? I don't know why I can't open them anymore. I think I wrote something on the vibe of is I don't know. This is pissing me off, by the way. Fucking Google. Every single time I open something, they take me to this fucking account. Alright, I'm gonna remove this account just for the sake of leave me the fuck alone. But anyways, so it was very much on the vibe of is me trying my best to have people is me trying my best to have people just like me standing in my way, right? And that's the people pleasing part. And I think I wrote it here. After a while, is moving the lore? Fuck man, there's a lot of stuff that I have to go with. There's a lot of beautiful things that have happened over the past fucking week in my writing. Never mind this shit. But anyways, I wrote about it and I realized there's a belief, and the belief is basically that exists that you have to be a certain kind of way for people to kind of like you and me, right? And then I kind of like was like, what would my authentic self look like? And it's funny because like everything I do is kind of like a reflection of my authentic self, but I'm always kind of like wary of how people will take it. And I think it's like a need for approval that's like deeply ingrained in us. And actually, I wrote about it. I write about them in a way where it's a flower that develops roots and you kind of have to cut it. But it's funny how your mind resists this shit, right? Because you kind of, if it's something that you're okay throwing out of your life, you kind of imagine it already gone. But if it's something that you like visualize throwing out of your life, you kind of see where you leave space for it to come back. And from my perspective, it's normally if you cut a flower, it's supposed to die, right? But the flower got cut in vision in my head. My mind kind of drew a vision of the flower being cut in a way where different branches can come out of it. And based on my logic, or based on nature, like when you cut a flower, its roots kind of expand more because it's in danger. And what happens is it kind of floats to, instead of one flower, it gives you more. And the more you attack that plant, the more flowers it gives you. And it's amazing because, like, that's how I felt about this belief. It kind of like, okay, so you're not going to work with me when it comes to this stuff, but I still have space to grow. And I actually wrote down how I actually like pulled the whole thing from the ground and threw it in the fire in order for me to loosen up a bit. Now, the fun part about it was me exploring all the ways I resisted the belief that people need to like me, or I need to do whatever it takes for people to like me, or I need to talk to people a certain kind of way for them to like me. And it feels a bit kind of like free from a freeing. feels kind of like liberating. No, it kind of feels like you're still doing the same stuff, right? Like every single day you do the same stuff. You are doing the same stuff when it comes to you. But it's like doing them, it's like a dog running with a leash tied to him, right? He's still gonna run, he's still gonna do his shit. But why the fuck would I want the leash to kind of like be hitting everything as I run? Why wouldn't I just want to run without even the collar? And I think that's how beliefs kind of like hold us or give the give the space for certain environments to kind of hold us. And that's not really how we plan, how we want to kind of like, we don't want to evolve with these constraints. We want to kind of like be able to explore what constraints we would want to be evolving towards or from. And hey man, this is literally what I've been thinking about from yesterday till today. So fuck yeah, it's a video. Peace. This is Smurfette. She's a mom now, by the way. Anyone who wants to adopt kitties, I have 2 of them. I'll introduce them sometime soon. Bye. It's a video.